Episode 7 of Furious brings Alice's investigation into Jay Easton closer than ever, while also forcing her to confront the trauma that has shaped her own life. After Catherine drugs Alice and leaves her for dead, Alice survives the overdose but wakes up more determined than ever to find her. However, the case has become increasingly complicated. Catherine shot Marshall after he attacked Alice, and Alice chose to save his life instead of letting him die. Nora sees that decision as a major mistake because Marshall's death could have allowed them to arrest Catherine and legally search Jay Easton's property. For Nora, this is proof that Alice is still too emotionally attached to the people involved in the case. But Alice eventually realizes that she can use that same emotional connection to her advantage. Before that happens, Danny gives Alice a devastating revelation. While investigating the evidence connected to Hall Hartford, he discovered videos showing the sexual abuse of teenage girls. One of the victims is Alice herself. Danny doesn't know exactly when or how the video was made, but seeing Alice's face immediately makes him understand that she was a victim long before he knew her. He refuses to submit the footage as evidence because he doesn't want Alice's trauma exposed to investigators and the public. Instead, he decides to pursue Jay through another case, the 2012 death of Isabel Luna. The investigation into Isabel's death produces a major breakthrough. Isabel was only 15 when she died, and her body showed signs that her death may not have been the accident authorities originally believed. Danny has the biological material recovered from beneath Isabel's fingernails tested against the Easton family. The result shows a 24% genetic match consistent with the sibling relationship to Caleb Easton. That doesn't by itself prove who killed Isabel, but it provides a potentially explosive connection between her death and the Easton family. Meanwhile, Jay is seriously ill and dependent on oxygen, but his daughter Emma has apparently known about his abuse of teenage girls for years. She even helps facilitate his victims, treating the girls as though she's managing something ordinary. When Jay's latest victim, Lacey, leaves the house, Emma praises her for making Jay happy. The disturbing scene confirms that Emma isn't simply unaware of her father's crimes, she's actively participated in protecting him. But Emma's loyalty has limits. When Ed warns her that Catherine is heading toward the Easton property, Emma realizes that the police could soon search the house. She's already destroyed the obvious evidence, including hard drives and phones, but Jay reveals that he's kept some of his most disturbing tools inside the safe. Emma forces him to give her the combination, only to discover that he used her birthday. The revelation disgusts her. Their argument becomes abusive as Jay reminds Emma that his money is the reason she has the life she has. Emma eventually pushes him. Jay begins crying and begging her not to take his favorite videos, exposing just how terrified he is of losing the evidence of his crimes. Emma prepares to remove the remaining material from the safe, but it's clear that the Easton family's carefully protected world is beginning to fall apart. At the same time, Alice finally finds a way to turn Catherine's obsession against Jay. Alice and Nora track down Elena, the daughter of Isabel Luna. Elena has been living on the streets and is connected to a trafficker known as Big Man. Alice learns that Catherine has been helping Elena and left her a burner phone. When Alice calls that phone, she realizes something important. Catherine is already inside the motel. Alice finds her hiding in the bathroom and holds her at gunpoint, but instead of arresting her, Alice lies. She tells Catherine that all the evidence from Hartford's laptop has been deleted. Then Alice predicts exactly where Catherine will go next. She knows Catherine wants revenge against Jay Easton, so Alice allows her to escape and tells Nora that Catherine is heading straight to Jay Easton's house. At first, it looks like Alice is simply letting Catherine go after the man she believes deserves to die, but Alice has finally learned Nora's lesson. She isn't simply following Catherine anymore, she's using Catherine. If Catherine is arrested on Jay Easton's property, the police may have grounds to search the house under the same search incident to arrest principal Nora previously explained. That could finally give them access to the evidence they've been looking for. Alice even tells Nora that she has her own metaphorical wings now. And that's an important change for Alice. Earlier in the episode, Nora accused her of being too soft because she chose to save Marshall instead of sacrificing him to advance the case. Nora's wings metaphor represents the emotional armor she believes investigators need to survive the horrors of their work. By the end, Alice has accepted that she sometimes needs to think strategically and manipulate the situation rather than simply react to it. But she hasn't completely lost her humanity. That's what makes Alice different from Nora. She's learning how to operate within the darkness without completely becoming part of it. The episode then sets up the confrontation at Jay's house. Catherine is heading there to kill Jay. Alice is following her. Nora and Danny are racing toward the property. Emma is trying to remove the remaining evidence, while Jay's own secrets are finally becoming impossible to contain. And now Danny has something even more important, the DNA evidence connecting Isabel's death to the Easton family. The ending therefore leaves Jay Easton surrounded from every direction. His physical condition is deteriorating. His daughter knows what he's done. Evidence of his crimes has survived. Catherine is coming for revenge, and the police are finally beginning to connect him to Isabel Luna's death. The biggest question going into the next episode isn't whether Jay is guilty of terrible crimes. The episode makes that clear. It's whether the police will finally be able to prove it before Catherine gets to him first. And for Alice, the ending marks another major turning point. She spent the season trying to protect people while investigating their abusers, but now she's learning how to use the system's rules to trap someone like Jay. She hasn't become as ruthless as Nora, but she's finally grown her own wings.